The brutal Ice Age relentlessly punished every single prehistoric creature struggling across its vast, unforgiving, frozen wilderness daily. Yet some terrifying apex predators evolved and successfully mastered this brutally unforgiving, bone-chilling prehistoric cold absolutely perfectly forever. The massive Smilodon hunted incredibly silently across these dangerous, ancient frozen landscapes, becoming a true winter nightmare forever. Exhausted prey animals barely survive the harsh winter, constantly fearing sudden, deadly, and entirely inescapable saber-toothed ambushes nearby. Its incredibly terrifying, elongated fangs quickly became absolutely legendary across the unforgiving, brutally cold prehistoric Earth forever afterward. This vast, frozen wilderness belonged exclusively to ruthless, highly specialized apex predators, perfectly built for absolute prehistoric survival. Every single silent, calculated movement carried incredibly deadly, terrifying precision throughout the harsh, unforgiving, and utterly frozen landscape. Incredible, unwavering patience quickly transformed the massive predator into an exceptionally efficient, lethal, and devastating prehistoric ambush hunter. Even gigantic, heavily armored mammals constantly fear the highly lethal, saber-toothed cat lurking silently within the nearby shadows. Brutal ancient winters relentlessly shaped dangerous survival strategies across the entire frozen prehistoric world, constantly without any mercy. Its menacing, heavily muscled appearance closely resembled something truly terrifying and completely alien from another ancient prehistoric world. The brutal Ice Age constantly echoed with the terrifying, guttural sounds of hungry apex predators hunting prey endlessly. Then the stealthy, massive hunter simply vanished completely back into the freezing, impenetrable winter darkness, once again silently. Very few desperate, freezing creatures ever survived long inside the dangerous, snow-covered hunting territory of this apex predator. And the harsh prehistoric Earth forever feared the incredibly deadly, completely silent ghost of the frozen Ice Age. The massive Smilodon lived during one of Earth's incredibly harshest and most unforgiving prehistoric climates ever experienced globally. Massive advancing ice sheets aggressively shaped these ancient, frozen landscapes across enormous prehistoric continents, constantly without any mercy. Enormous prehistoric mammals like giant mammoths migrated endlessly across the dark, frozen plains, constantly searching for scarce food. Every single prehistoric creature faced brutally intense environmental pressure daily while navigating this incredibly hostile frozen winter wasteland. Brutal, seemingly endless ancient winters completely dominated nearly every single prehistoric ecosystem across the frozen North American continent. For these vulnerable prehistoric herbivores, daily survival depended entirely upon incredible physical endurance and constant, terrifying situational awareness. Meanwhile, apex predators like Smilodon use the harsh, frozen environment perfectly for flawlessly executing sudden ambush hunting strategies. The freezing Ice Age miraculously supported uniquely extraordinary prehistoric mammals everywhere, despite the incredibly hostile climatic winter conditions. The dangerously unpredictable weather itself quickly became one of prehistoric Earth's absolutely deadliest threats for all living animals. Even the treacherous, physically shifting environment itself constantly endangered the fragile survival of countless heavy migrating prehistoric mammals. Brutal predatory competition remained absolutely relentless across the dark, frozen prehistoric world among multiple deadly carnivore species daily. However, the magnificent saber-toothed predator completely mastered this incredibly brutal, unforgiving Ice Age landscape through pure, terrifying stealth. During these freezing times, ancient Earth looked hauntingly, breathtakingly beautiful. Yet it remained constantly, brutally, completely unforgiving always. Following every single snowy trail carried incredibly dangerous, potentially fatal prehistoric consequences from massive predators lurking silently nearby. Continuous, exhausting migration became absolutely essential for prehistoric survival, as massive herds constantly chased slightly warmer weather desperately. The brutal Ice Age environment never offered any lasting safety for exhausted herbivores traveling across frozen river valleys. A terrifying, deadly, and entirely unbroken cold silence covered the vast, dark, prehistoric world almost absolutely constantly forever. Ultimately, prehistoric survival demanded incredibly rapid, constant physical adaptation across the brutally terrifying, completely unforgiving Ice Age landscape. Everything about the massive Smilodon evolved absolutely perfectly for executing sudden, devastating prehistoric ambush hunting strategies successfully. Its terrifying, elongated saber fangs quickly became its absolute most recognizable and iconic prehistoric biological adaptation ever. Incredibly powerful, densely muscled forelimbs helped the predator easily overpower massive struggling prey efficiently during violent ambushes. Every single anatomical weapon significantly increased its overall survival chances within the brutally unforgiving Ice Age environment. Instead of cursorial stamina, its heavy body perfectly balanced explosive ambush speed with devastating, overwhelming physical strength. Brutally freezing cold winter conditions relentlessly shaped absolutely every single biological aspect of its difficult prehistoric survival. Incredibly muscular, robust hind limbs provided excellent physical stability across these highly dangerous, slippery, frozen winter landscapes. Absolute silence and perfect stealth remain completely essential for ensuring successful prehistoric hunting across the snowy wilderness. Despite weighing hundreds of pounds, its calculated movements remain surprisingly silent across the treacherous, icy prehistoric terrain. Explosive, highly coordinated ambush attacks often ended desperate prehistoric hunts within mere seconds of pure terrifying violence. Its heavily muscled, menacing appearance effortlessly inspired absolute primal fear throughout the freezing, unforgiving, ancient prehistoric world. Brutal daily survival demanded constant physical endurance against incredibly harsh weather conditions and aggressive, deadly prehistoric competitors. Its immense upper body strength allowed absolute physical domination over enormous, heavily armored Ice Age megafaunal mammals. Those iconic, terrifying saber fangs evolved specifically for delivering devastating, perfectly executed precision attacks targeting vulnerable throats. Absolute, unwavering patience quickly transformed the massive feline predator into an exceptionally efficient, ruthless, prehistoric ambush killer. Following the brutal hunt, the silent Ice Age ghost vanished effortlessly back into the freezing, snowy wilderness. Very few ancient predators ever adapted more successfully to these freezing, violently unpredictable, and endless harsh winters. And the freezing, merciless Ice Age wilderness truly belonged to these incredibly powerful, perfectly evolved prehistoric hunters. The massive Smilodon survived exclusively through incredible stealth, absolute patience, and suddenly devastating, perfectly executed prehistoric ambush attacks. To survive the freezing temperatures, the stealthy predator carefully avoided wasting unnecessary energy during these brutally difficult hunts. Against massive prey, every single successful ambush attack required absolutely perfect timing, complete stealth, and incredibly deadly precision. Terrified prehistoric prey animals constantly searched the blinding snowstorms for hidden, deadly, and entirely inescapable saber-toothed dangers nearby. Sudden, violent ambush hunting created absolutely terrifying moments across these blinding, frozen, and completely unforgiving ancient prehistoric landscapes. Incredibly powerful, heavily muscled forelimbs securely restrained massive, violently struggling victims efficiently before the final, devastating killing bite. Dragging massive kills through heavy snow, brutal survival demanded relentless physical endurance during these freezing Ice Age winters. Because of the brutal cold, every single successful hunt became absolutely essential for ensuring continued, daily prehistoric survival. Dangerous packs of other hungry prehistoric predators like giant dire wolves constantly challenge these incredibly valuable food sources. Its terrifying, elongated saber fangs consistently delivered devastating, highly specialized killing precision through thick hides and massive throats. Traveling within massive, highly protective herds increased survival chances against deadly apex predators significantly during brutal, blinding snowstorms. Waiting silently above frozen rivers, absolute patience often determined critical hunting success during these incredibly harsh, unending winters. Fierce, violent competition remained absolutely brutal throughout these freezing, rapidly changing, prehistoric ecosystems almost constantly without any end. Enduring freezing temperatures, even highly successful apex predators struggled constantly against relentless, brutal, and totally overwhelming environmental pressure. The brutally freezing, highly unpredictable Ice Age environment relentlessly shaped every single daily survival decision for these carnivores. Successfully raising vulnerable offspring became dangerously difficult during these violently unpredictable, brutally freezing, and completely unforgiving prehistoric winters. Within the freezing darkness, young saber-toothed predators learned essential survival skills through constant, careful observation of experienced adults. Navigating through treacherous blizzards, every single learned lesson significantly increased their future survival possibilities in this frozen wasteland. Actively marking frozen trees, securing exclusive territory remained absolutely essential for maintaining consistent, reliable winter ambush hunting opportunities. Finding secure, perfectly insulated cave shelter protected these massive, prehistoric predators from deadly freezing environmental exposure during blizzards. The beautifully terrifying, totally frozen Ice Age landscape demanded relentless physical endurance from every single living creature continually. Illuminated by glowing northern lights, these ancient frozen landscapes created breathtakingly unforgettable, yet completely deadly, natural prehistoric beauty. Roaring powerfully across snowy valleys, its absolute apex dominance echoed throughout the dark, freezing prehistoric wilderness almost constantly. The endless, seasonal migration patterns of massive mammoth herds shaped prehistoric saber-toothed predator hunting behavior significantly and continually. Sometimes unexpectedly violent, freezing harsh weather completely destroyed careful hunting opportunities, forcing the giant apex predators to starve. Battling massive prey and rival predators, successful survival always carried incredibly dangerous, completely permanent physical consequences and scars. Melting into the fierce storm, the legendary saber-toothed hunter became a completely silent ghost within the snowy landscapes. Swallowed by freezing darkness, desperate prehistoric survival across the brutal Ice Age plains remained endlessly, completely, absolutely unforgiving. Eventually, the brutally cold Ice Age environment slowly began changing permanently, completely threatening every single specialized prehistoric creature. As massive megafauna populations declined rapidly, vital food sources gradually became significantly less reliable for giant prehistoric predators. Triggered by sudden, intense warming climates, stable ancient ecosystems started completely collapsing across the changing prehistoric Earth forever. For these highly specialized ambush hunters, securing critical hunting success became increasingly difficult during rapid, unpredictable environmental changes. Without sufficient prey available, large, socially complex predators struggled desperately when recovering from sudden, devastating regional population losses. Successfully raising vulnerable offspring required enormous caloric energy, immense patience, and relentless physical protection against brutal, freezing elements. Because their massive saber teeth develop slowly, young predators rarely survive these incredibly harsh, unforgiving prehistoric conditions consistently. As nimble, fast-moving deer replace massive herbivores, the entire prehistoric food chain transformed rapidly during sudden climate change. Brutal, deadly competition between rival apex predators intensified significantly as essential survival resources slowly disappeared from frozen landscapes. Washed away by relentless torrential rains, the freezing Ice Age world supporting the mighty Smilodon gradually vanished forever. Despite their incredible physical strength, even powerful saber-toothed hunters struggled adapting to this sudden, devastating global environmental transformation. With hunting habitats destroyed and massive prey gone, absolute extinction slowly approached the once invincible Ice Age predator. The deeply frozen ancient world reliably supporting the mighty Smilodon began rapidly disappearing across the prehistoric Earth permanently. Massive, highly unpredictable global environmental changes aggressively transform these delicate prehistoric ecosystems rapidly, creating unprecedented severe ecological instability. Essential large prey animals like giant mammoths slowly vanished entirely from these rapidly deteriorating, highly unstable prehistoric environments. Securing successful kills quickly became increasingly difficult for these highly specialized ambush predators during this devastating ecological transition. Ancient, historically reliable weather patterns changed completely and unpredictably across the rapidly warming prehistoric Earth, triggering massive floods. Severe, unprecedented food shortages rapidly intensified brutal survival pressure constantly among starving apex predators, desperate for any meal. Traditional familiar hunting territories no longer supported these massive, highly specialized saber-toothed apex predators reliably during the transition. As massive, thick glaciers retreated, the beautiful, freezing, and completely unforgiving Ice Age itself slowly disappeared forever globally. Without sufficient megafaunal prey available, even incredibly powerful saber-toothed apex predators struggle desperately adapting successfully to these changes. Then another highly intelligent, incredibly dangerous, and entirely unprecedented social predator suddenly appeared across these changing prehistoric landscapes. Equipped with highly advanced lethal weaponry, migrating human hunters quickly introduced terrifying new survival pressure into the ecosystem. Direct, relentless competition for declining survival resources intensified extremely rapidly across the entire melting, unstable Ice Age world. Squeezed heavily between human hunters and starving carnivores, the prehistoric ecosystem became increasingly unstable for every single species. Relentless, rapid human expansion and controlled landscape burning slowly transformed these delicate prehistoric environments completely and absolutely permanently. For the very first time, the massive saber-toothed predator faced entirely unfamiliar, highly coordinated, and incredibly dangerous competition. Driven relentlessly by rapid climate warming and human hunting pressure, environmental collapse accelerated across prehistoric ecosystems incredibly rapidly. Without its specialized, dense hunting habitats, the magnificent, terrifying Ice Age ghost slowly lost its ancient world forever. As the familiar cold vanished completely, absolute, inescapable extinction pressure continued growing relentlessly against these once unstoppable predators. Eventually, the once vibrant prehistoric Earth reached a completely devastating and irreversible ecological turning point during the Pleistocene. The massive mammalian prey reliably supporting these giant apex predators disappeared incredibly rapidly across collapsing prehistoric frozen ecosystems. Every single desperate prehistoric hunt demanded significantly greater physical energy while yielding increasingly smaller nutritional rewards almost constantly. Terrifying, irreversible environmental instability spread incredibly rapidly across the dying ancient world relentlessly, devastating the once mighty Smilodon. Even incredibly powerful, heavily muscled saber-toothed hunters slowly weakened against this sudden, inescapable, and utterly devastating extinction pressure. Familiar ancient hunting territories completely froze, no longer supporting the successful survival of these massive Ice Age cats. Lethal competition intensified drastically between humans and starving predators as fragile prehistoric ecosystems collapsed completely into silent darkness. Tragically, the magnificent, heavily armored Ice Age giants slowly vanished from the freezing landscape entirely one after another. Staring silently across empty frozen landscapes, the starving, terrified predator realized its lush, ancient world was disappearing forever. Collapsing under intense climate shifts, fierce nature itself transformed entirely beyond recognizable prehistoric conditions, completely and absolutely permanently. Without sufficient food, vulnerable young saber-toothed predators rarely survive the brutally harsh, ongoing, and totally catastrophic environmental collapse. Buried beneath endless suffocating snowfall, the highly specialized saber-toothed hunter slowly lost every single evolutionary survival advantage entirely. Brutal starvation and pure terrifying desperation rapidly replaced unquestioned apex dominance across dying prehistoric ecosystems, constantly without relief. Swallowed entirely by thick winter storms, these majestic, ancient predator territories quickly became hauntingly, terrifyingly empty forever afterward. Severely weakened by freezing winds and absolute starvation, the magnificent Ice Age ghost could unfortunately endure no longer. As violent winter winds swept across abandoned prehistoric valleys endlessly, one of Earth's absolutely greatest predators approached extinction, fading silently into the endless, blinding, snowy darkness. The terrifying, iconic saber-toothed hunter finally disappeared from Earth forever. An eerie, totally unbroken frozen silence completely replaced the violent, echoing sounds of desperate prehistoric survival forever afterward. As drifting snow slowly covered ancient predator footprints beneath icy winds, unforgiving nature erased nearly every trace entirely. With its frozen cave shelters abandoned beneath violent Ice Age storms, the prehistoric world lost another extraordinary species. While lonely mammoths crossed empty frozen plains beneath gray skies, entire complex ecosystems collapsed alongside prehistoric predators completely. Standing perfectly silent beneath pale moonlight, the ancient, devastatingly beautiful Ice Age itself rapidly approached its final ending. With its giant, fossilized, saber-toothed skull partially buried beneath drifting snow, only silent bones remained hidden eternally afterward. Illuminated faintly by pale winter sunlight across endless abandoned prehistoric valleys, millions of years of specialized evolution vanished. As drifting snow covered devastated prehistoric landscapes beneath silent skies, peacefully, the magnificent Ice Age ghost disappeared forever. Crossing the snowy horizon beneath blinding blizzard conditions silently, the once terrifying legendary predator became prehistoric memory alone. Swallowed entirely by suffocating darkness and relentless freezing snowfall, its magnificent, terrifying reign across prehistoric Earth had ended, fading into absolute silence beneath pale Ice Age skies. The giant cat left behind only fossils and mystery. Thousands of years later, the terrifying saber-toothed predator survives only through scattered fossils and human prehistoric imagination today. Its carefully excavated remains eventually revealed one of Earth's most highly specialized Ice Age apex predators ever discovered. Displayed brilliantly today, these legendary, terrifying saber fangs still inspire boundless human fascination and deep primal fear worldwide. The terrifying Ice Age ghost became incredibly legendary long after absolute extinction ended its brutal prehistoric reign forever. It transformed beautifully from terrifying hunter into an ancient memory preserved safely beneath stone and frozen earth forever. Modern scientists continue enthusiastically studying exactly how this magnificent predator survived these brutally freezing prehistoric winters so successfully. Every single newly discovered fossil reliably reveals another fascinating, crucial fragment of this completely lost, frozen prehistoric world. Long ago, the freezing prehistoric Earth belonged almost entirely to powerful Ice Age predators and giant mammalian megafauna. Even thousands of years later, its absolutely terrifying scientific mystery still dominates our collective prehistoric human imagination today. This incredible, legendary saber-toothed hunter continues inspiring profound scientific wonder across countless new generations, exploring museums worldwide today. Its tragic, sudden disappearance permanently changed these delicate prehistoric ecosystems across the entire freezing North American continent forever. As relentless geologic time passed, unforgiving nature gradually erased nearly every single physical trace of the ancient hunter. But the magnificent ghost of the Ice Age still survives eternally through fossils, mystery, and human imagination today.